Right, please write down the heading DSA, Digital Signature Algorithm. Digital Signature Algorithm. Right. Last day we learned public key cryptography can be used to share a key, because so you know when there are three parties like A, B, and C, when there are three parties A, B, and C, A has A's private key, B has B's private key, and C has C's private key. Whatever locked a message, if a message is locked using a private key, it can be unlocked by using the public key. So, and the other way also, that means if a message is locked using a public key, then it can be unlocked only by using its own private key. For example, this message, you can see the message is encrypted or the locked by using public key of B. So who can unlock that? Who can unlock that message? If a message is encrypted by using B's public key, who can unlock that? Yes? Sydney? Who can unlock that? Yes?
B.
Yes, only B. Why? So it is locked using B's public key. B's public key is with C and all, even with B, even with A, even with C. The public key is there with everyone. But if it is locked using the public key, it can be unlocked only by using the relevant private key. Public key එකෙන් lock කරොත් ඒක අරින්න පුළුවන් ඒකට අදාළ private key එකකින්. එතකොට B ගේ private key එක තියෙන්නේ B ගාව විතරයි. So this message is secure now. But only thing is how to ensure that this message is sent by A. කොහොමද අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ මේ message එක එව්වේ A මයි කියලා? Because C also got the public key of B. C ළඟත් B ගේ public key එක තියෙනවා. A ළඟත් B ගේ public key එක තියෙනවා. ඉතින් තව ඕනම කෙනෙක් ළඟ B public key එක ඕනම කෙනෙක් ළඟ තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපි කොහොමද දැනගන්නේ how we should know the message is sent by A? How to get that? So that is where digital signature algorithm comes to play, right? Okay, so that means if somebody has sent a message, that the message confidentiality is assured, right? When using public key and secret key cryptography, confidentiality of the message, that means message is secret. So in the middle, people cannot unlock and people cannot read the message. Message is confidential. But how to ensure the authenticity or integrity of the message? Who has sent that? Right? Authentication or authenticity or the integrity of the message. To identify that, digital signature is used. Okay, please write down under that. Secret key or symmetric key cryptography and public key cryptography, public or asymmetric key cryptography ensures confidentiality of a message. It ensures confidentiality of the message. Confidentiality of a message. But how can we ensure that the message is sent by intended party or authenticity of the message? How can we ensure the message sending party authenticity? Who has sent this? Authenticity means like validity, legitimacy, integrity, faithfulness, right? How can we trust that? You can say authenticity and integrity. integrity of a message. Digital signing and digital signature algorithm plays vital role in authentication, or so vital role in identifying the sender using the signature. It's playing a vital role in identifying the sender using the signature. How it happens, right? How it happens. So the secret key or the symmetric key ensures the cryptography or the confidentiality. By using the cryptography, it ensures the confidentiality of the message. But how to find the exact sender, actual sender? We do that meaning signature. දැන් අපිට ලියුමක් ආවම අපිට හරිම කෙනාගෙන් ආවද කියලා බලන්න පුළුවන් එක ක්‍රමයක් නේ. අපිට පුළුවන් මේක රෙජිස්ටර් පෝස්ට් එකෙන් එවලා නම් අපිට තියෙනවා යවන කෙනාගේ ලිපිනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට මොකක් හරි ලියුමක් හම්බුණා නම් අපිට ප්‍රින්සිපල් දැනුම් දෙනවා මෙහෙම කියලා මැසේජ් එකක් දෙනවා. ප්‍රින්සිපල් ගේ සයින් එකයි සීල් එකයි ඇතුළේ දැනුම් දුන්නොත් තමයි අපි ඒක විශ්වාස කරන්නේ. as principals message. නැත්නම් කවුරු හරි චිට් එක ලියලා ගෙනත් දුන්නොත් ප්‍රින්සිපල් මෙන්න මේක දෙන්න කිව්වා ඔයාට. ඔයාව හෙට ඉඳන් ඉස්කෝලෙන් අයින් කරනවා. නැත්නම් ඔයා හෙට ඉඳන් අර පන්තියට යන්න ඕන. ප්‍රින්සිපල් සර් මේක දෙන්න කිව්වා කියලා චිට් එකක් දෙනවා. How to trust the chit? Who has sent that? අපි ඉස්සරම් බලන්නේ signature එක. සයින් කරලාද තියෙන්නේ? සීල් එකක් ගහලාද තියෙන්නේ? Is it valid? කවුද මේක එවලා තියෙන්නේ? ඒ වගේ computer world එකේ digital signature is used to identify the person. How to sign a document digitally? So what you can do is, right, you can do simple magic like this. Okay, not a magic actually. So you have A, B and C, same parties. All the parties are there, A, B and C. Okay, all the parties are there. So the message is encrypted using K. B is public key. Then only B. So A is sending the message. So A is sending the message, and A has encrypted message using B's public key. So only B can unlock that. For sure, B can unlock that. Right? So only B can unlock that. Then, so another additional layer is added. Another additional layer is added. So what is that? What is this additional layer? So let's send to back. Right now you can see message is encrypted using B's public key, and also the same message I'm going to do something else. Okay, so I'm going to encrypt this message again by using private key of A. Okay, what is that? I'm going to again encrypt the message by using private key of A. Actually, who can use the private key? Who can use the private key of A? A के private key एक कार्ड use करना बोलो. Yes. Only A. Correct. A टा वितरा है ना मुझे A की private key का दाने का उधर. Only A knows that, right? A के private key का दाने A वितरा है. इधर A के private key के unlock करला तीन का unlock कराना बोलो कार्ड. Who can unlock this? If it is locked using A's private key, who can unlock this? කාටද unlock කරන්න පුළුවන්? A ගේ private key එකෙන් lock කරපු එකක් unlock කරන්න පුළුවන් කාටද? දැන් මම හිතනවා මේක clear කියලා. Public key algorithm එක. A ට B ට බැයිද? A ගේ private key එකෙන් lock කරපු එකක්. So if it is locked using A's private key, who can unlock?
B and C.
Yes, B, C, A. ඕන කෙනෙකුට unlock කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? පුළුවන්ද බැරිද? අයි හැමෝම ළඟම තියෙනවනේ B ගේ A ගේ private key එකෙන් lock කරොත් unlock කරන්නේ මොකෙන්ද? If it is locked using A's private key, unlocking should happen using A's public key, right? So, but A's public key is with B, C, and A. So anyone can unlock that. ඕන කෙනෙකුට unlock කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then what is the security? What is the security there? ඕන කෙනෙකුට මේ message එක කඩලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ලියුම දකින ඕන කෙනෙක් දන්නවා මේක එවලා තියෙන්නේ A. This message is sent by A because it is encrypted with A's private key. So B, if you the A private key can encrypt කරලා කියන්නේ මේ you cannot take this private key again. You have to unlock only using the public key of A. So B can unlock, C can unlock, A can also unlock. So let's say C unlock this, but after unlocking, can C see the message? හරි මේ layer එක අයින් කරලා unlock කරා. Can C see the message?
No.
Why?
It's encrypted by the public key of B.
Yes. Even after unlocking this outer layer, so they know that this has sent by A because A private key තියෙන A ළඟ විතරනේ. Everyone will know this is sent, this is signed by A. This is signed by A. So B can unlock, C can unlock, A can also unlock the first layer, but the second layer only B can unlock because B's public key is there, so it can be unlocked only by using B's private key. So B's private key is only with B, so B can only unlock that. So this is called DSA, digital signature algorithm. Understood? Sign-in happens using the private key. Sign-in happens using the private key. Encryption happens using the public key of the receiving party. Okay. So please add to this note. Sign-in is done using private key. So everyone will know the sender. Encryption or maybe like securing users public key of the receiving party, so that only the receiver can unlock and read the message using its private key. So same receiving party, right? Same public key algorithm can be used as digital signature algorithm, DSA. Okay, this is how the sign-in happens. Basically, digital signature, the sign-in happens in this way. So you can draw it and show. After writing, please draw it and show. With that, the particular topic is over, and let's move to the paper revision. Right, with that, the particular topic is over. So these are some advanced topics if you like. So I think some are late to the class, so those will have to go through the video again and understand this because these concepts are a bit tricky. Not advanced, not difficult, but a bit tricky, right? You have to understand carefully, otherwise so it's an error. Okay, so finish writing. Let me know once you're done, right? Let me know once you finish. Then let's move to the paper discussion part. And so if you have the paper, you can actually read start answering that. So that is 2020. I would like to discuss 2020 papers, which is the recent one, right? Okay. So you can go to Google and download it if you don't have. 2020 A-level ICT paper, English medium. And you will find a lot of resources in the internet. You can, out of that, you can download the paper, the PDF file. So, okay, I'll use this A-level ICT paper number 1, English medium 1. All right. So, is it clear one? Yeah, it's clear version. It's good. Okay. So here's the question number 1. Right. So first of all, I'll give you time to read the questions and answer the questions. So altogether, you have 4 questions in the screen. Right. I'll give you 4 minutes to read and answer the question. So remember that aim of the revision, aim of the paper discussion is not to find answer to 2020 paper. දැන් යකනග ඉන්නත් පුළුවන් නේද? එහෙනම් පේපර් එක ගන්න මොකටද නේද? උත්තර හොයන්න නෙවෙයි නෑ. 2020 පේපර් එකට උත්තර හොයන්න නෙවෙයි අපි යන්නේ. අපි හදන්නේ 2021 22 papers වලට උත්තර හොයන්න. මේ papers තාම ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. ඒතකොට එන්න තියෙන papers වලට උත්තර ලියන්න තමයි අපි පුරුදු වෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැතුව මේ ආපු paper එකේ උත්තර ඔයාලට දැන් අර මම download කරපු link එකේම තිබ්බේ. ඉතින් මේකේ උත්තර බලන්න ඔයාලා පන්තියෙන් එපා. හරි මේ link එකේම තිබ්බ marking scheme එක. මේකෙම මේ marking scheme එක download කරගන්න paper 1 එකේ paper 1 එකේ marking scheme එක download කරගත්තම ඔයාලට හම්බ වෙනවා මේ උත්තර ටික. ඉතින් එතකොට ඒකට පන්තියෙන් ඕන නැහැ. Right? No need to come to the class to know the answers of 2020 paper. Why? Because it's already released. Marking scheme is official marking scheme is also there. So you can just check that and stay home. But this paper, these questions will not come again, but similar questions will come. Therefore, our aim is to find answers to these questions. By finding the answer, we will actually discuss. We have to discuss. We have to discuss, argue on the answers, maybe remove unmatching answers, find new answers, and understand the questions in our own way, and understand the question in the examiner's point of view. So those are the things. So therefore, even though I give 4 minutes to answer these questions, to discuss, it might take 20 or 30 minutes. Right? Because I have to introduce the theories, which is missed. නේද මතක් වෙච්ච අමතක වුණ theory මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ වැඩක් තියෙනවනේ. ඉතින් පුංචි වැඩි වෙලාවක් යයි discuss කරන්න. Okay, so now try to answer the questions. Now time is 6:30. I'm giving 4 minutes, 6:34. I'll start discussing by 6:34. You have 4 minutes to find the answers. Right. First, I would like to know the answer for the first question. A computer processor will operate fastest when the data that it wants in the yes. Answer for the question number 1. Computer processor will operate fastest. In which occurrence? When data in cache, optical, magnetic, main memory, or hard disk? Yes. Which is the fastest? Hello. What is your answer? You can tell your guess also. Guess කරලා කිව්වත් කමක් නැහැ. මොකක්ද answer එක? Netuli?
Cache.
Cache. Okay, correct. So then, which of the following having hardware is component will lose? Sorry, which of the following hardware components will lose data when the power to the computer is switched off? So asking about volatile memories. Which of the following is volatile? අනිත් පැත්තට අහන්න. නේද? ඒ කියන්නේ මොන hardware component එකේද data නැති වෙන්නේ කියලා අහනවා. Which of the following hardware component will lose data when the power off? When it is power off. Which means which is volatile, which is depend on voltage. Registers, cache, main memory. Registers, is it volatile? Cache memory, is it volatile? Main memory, is it volatile? Again, Satira, what is the answer? Satira, what do you think? What is the answer?
Second one.
Second one, AB only. Registers and cache. So what about main memory, RAM?
Volatile memory.
That is also volatile, right? Then all ABC, right? So Netuli, what is your answer?
Fifth one.
Fifth one, yes. All ABC. Okay. So first of all, we need to know what are these memories and all. So therefore, I would like to remind you about these things if you cannot remember by now. And computer has different memories. Right? Computers are having different memories. Out of that, the largest memory is actually tertiary storage. In Sinhala, that is called Prutika Mataka. Tertiary means it is the third level, right? Third level storage, Prutika Mataka. That is actually magnetic tape, network storage. All these are actually, that is much slower memory, but it is the largest. Then you have secondary storage. In secondary storage, that is called in Sinhala Dvitika Mataka, hard disk, floppy disk, CD, DVD, optical, magnetic, and solid status. All these are optical, magnetic, solid status, memory card, pen drive, solid status. Optical, magnetic, solid status, all memories are falling into the secondary memory. So out of that, is tertiary or secondary, is tertiary or secondary volatile or not volatile? Tertiary, secondary, is it volatile or non-volatile? Current එක තියෙන්න ඕනද hard එකක මොන හරි මතක තියාගන්න. pen එකක memory card එකට current එක ඕනද? Magnetic storage එකට backup එකකට network storage එකට current එක ඕනද? මතක තියාගන්න. මතකේ තියාගන්න. ඕනද? access කරන්න නෙවෙයි. මතකේ තියාගන්න current එක ඕනද? ඔගොල්ලෝ උත්තර දෙනවා නම් ලේසි පුතේ. ඉක්මනට උත්තර දෙන්න. ඇහෙනව නේද මම කියන එක? සිත්මි ඇහෙනව නේද?
ඔව් සර්.
මට කියන්නකෝ ඕනද tertiary memory එකකටයි secondary memory එකකටයි. Do it need power to remember the things, or it will keep it inside the hard disk or the CD, floppy, DVD, even without power? So do you need power to keep the storage or not?
No.
No, it's not volatile. So it's not volatile because storage is always there. So it's not volatile. But above level means the main memory. So main memory means actually, main memory. Oh, what's happening? Sorry. Something wrong. Okay. Main memory. Out of that, the main memory. Main memory is also a volatile memory. Main memory, under main memory, you have ROM, read-only memory, and dynamic random access memory. So dynamic random access memory and read-only memory are under main memory. And even above that, you have cache memory. Cache memory is a type of static random access memory. And then the registers are also a type of static random access memory. That is also static random access memory. Registers. So why those are static random access memories? Those are dedicated memories, right? Those are dedicated memories, not shared among the other parties. It's a dedicated memory for the purpose. So we call static. But dynamic random access memory is shared among programs. So like it's time sharing, and it need to be refreshed periodically. But these are no need to be refreshed. So until the operation, the memory will be available. So static RAMs, both are static RAMs. This is dynamic RAM. Registers are inside the processor. Cache is also inside the processor, but only level 1 cache inside the processor. Sometimes level 2 cache also inside processor. You can see level 1 cache, level 2 cache, sakasane tula, or inside processor. Level 3 cache, sakasane pitati, or outside the processor, but attached to the processor. And also, so when you go up, speed will be high, speed is high, and cost will be high. Cost per storage unit will be high, and speed will be high when you're going up. But when you're going down, when you're going